Hello, 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 and welcome to Bleav. That's Bleav in Lions, right here on the Bleav Network. As always, I'm your host at Javanaugh87, Jack Kavanaugh, and I am joined, as always, by the newly stylized all pro safety interception leader, Glover Quinn, who has just redone his background, and it is looking beautiful.
I had to do it, man. I was sitting there and I'm getting ready to, put some of my stuff up because a lot of this stuff, like I said, has been in boxes, been wrapped up. I had a guy when I was in Detroit, I had a guy, John Pinch, shout out John Pinch. Man, he used to come through and take, get all types of cool pictures and he would get them framed and you can see the jerseys, like all these different things, man. This big painting back here, guy Chuck Broad from Baton Rouge painted this for me. He does a lot of paintings. If you're interested in any kind of paint stuff, action stuff, like he does a phenomenal job. You can see the big one behind me. Um, but a lot of the jerseys and stuff, it was up in boxes because I was moving back into my house from, some renovations that I had to get done from when Houston had to freeze. Um, and so when I moved back in, things was going so fast, I just didn't take the time to really just unpack all the stuff and hang stuff back up and put stuff back up. And some of these pictures I didn't even have up in the first place. And so I started going back through it on Monday because I'm like, you know what, man, when I see some of these guys on ESPN and NFL Network and, they're broadcasting from their home office or whatever they're doing, they got their balls and jerseys and they got all their stuff up. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to change. I'm going to put some more of my stuff up on my walls and, decorate a little bit and feature myself. But I got a bunch of stuff over here. I got, Andre Johnson, Calvin Johnson pictures, me and Calvin, obviously me and Andre, me and Larry Fitzgerald. Just some of the guys that, I played with, I looked up to, I had fun competing against. And, I decided to decorate it on my wall and, you know, add a little character to my stream, man. It's football season, it's podcast time. And, when you're podcasting, you want the background to look good. So I did that. Obviously, this jersey to my right is my Houston Texans jersey. That's the team that drafted me, obviously, for those who don't know. This jersey to my left is my Pro Bowl jersey. Um, and, I only had room to put two jerseys. So I put those two because I got the big picture of Detroit in the background. So that's me in my Detroit Lions jersey. And the jersey that I have framed for me with Detroit actually has that exact photo in it, the live actual photo from week 4, 2013, when I caught an interception against Chicago Bears. So I decided not to put the actual jersey because I wanted to be able to put those other two up to pay, honor to the Texans for drafting me and then for an accomplishment of making the Pro Bowl. And, and kept the Lions in the middle. So it was good. It's a good style, good look, and, showing both teams that, I played for the Lions and the Texans. So it's good.
It is really good. I absolutely love how it kind of shows the history of Glover Quinn, the 29, the 27, the action shots. Some of those, I imagine those are interception balls behind you as well, right?
No, I didn't put the interception balls behind
Oh.
me. I thought about it, but I put a couple of the players signed balls, and I'm going back and forth with it. I may put some interception balls because that those are my babies. So I may switch it out, but right now I think I got Andre Johnson, Calvin Johnson, Arian Foster, and Ndamukong Suh back there in the cases. So I may change it out from week to week. I don't know. It may just become a different thing. I don't know. But you can see I got a picture, me and Peyton Manning right there. I got another picture over in the corner a little farther, me and Tom Brady. Got a picture over here, me and JJ Watt. Got another picture right there, me and Coach Caldwell. I got a picture right behind me, actually. That's my 100th straight start. We played Chicago the end of the 2016 season. I think it was maybe 15, one of them. Yeah, it had to been because I ended up at 148. So that would have been 16, 17, 18 would have gave me 48. So yeah, it would have had to been the end of the 2015 season. I caught an interception against Chicago in the last game of the season, and that was my 100th straight start. So that picture is right behind me. So it's pretty cool, man. It'd be cool for my kids to actually come in and see some of this stuff. And then I got other memorabilia that I collected over the years. Charles Woodson signed his Raiders jersey when he played his last game in Michigan. He played the Lions when they played the Lions in, I think, 14 or 15. We played the Raiders. Charles Woodson gave me his jersey, signed it for me right there on the field. So I got that. I got Calvin Johnson jersey, and a lot of guys that I respected when I played: Eric Weddle, Earl Thomas, Ryan Clark. What I'm saying? Just guys that I respected and that were willing to switch jerseys with me. So I got some of that stuff. I got a bunch of photos from when I played, with some of my teammates and things like that. So just gonna get some of that stuff up and, have fun with it.
And I think we're going to have fun seeing what happens as the background evolves. Really a who's who among defensive backs in terms of the jersey swaps that you've done. Charles Woodson, that is just such a perfect jersey swap.
Oh yeah, that right there is probably one of my, I would put that up there as probably one of my, because I wouldn't consider Calvin a swap. Like, I played with Calvin. So it was like, hey, Calvin, I need to get a jersey, bro. Like, at some point this season, I got to get a jersey, right? But Charles Woodson was, a swap, right? And I was the type of person where I didn't feel comfortable just going up to any and everybody and asking for a jersey, right? So when I was young in my career, trying to earn some respect, trying to grow in this league, I didn't go and ask anybody for their jersey. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until, I made the Pro Bowl and I led the league in interceptions that I felt like, okay, well, this other safety may know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I felt like I could go up to Earl Thomas and go up to Eric Weddle and go up to a Charles Woodson, because I kind of felt like I thought those guys were like me, right? Like, if you're a top safety in the league, you probably know who the other top safeties are. You know what I'm saying? Because you probably check out those guys and see, like, who's making plays, like who's doing what. And so, once I led the league in pick, I felt like, okay, well, I feel like Charles Woodson know he might not know me personally, but he know my name. He had, you know what I'm saying? And so some of these people I had talked to social media wise beforehand, but it wasn't until that point that I even felt comfortable going up to these guys and asking them to exchange jerseys or asking them to have their jersey, right? Because obviously you pay for these jerseys. They don't just give them to you for free. And so, okay, well, however much they're charging you for that jersey, if they just giving you their jersey, they're basically giving you however, you know what I'm saying? And so when you swap, obviously they take your jersey, you take their jersey, and so it kind of evens out. But to go up, I don't even think I swapped with Charles. I think I just asked for his, and it's like, appreciate you, bro. Like, he took it off right there on the field, his last game in Ford Field. I actually got a dope photo of it. It's on the jersey. So, like I said, shout out my guy John Pinch. He did a great job getting all those things framed up for me, and it's dope.
It's dope. It's absolutely so dope. Game respects game, as the saying goes. So no surprise there. And as a former All-Pro, interception leader, defensive back star, what did you notice from the Lions' first preseason game? Because I know not the first, their second one versus the Colts, because I know your eyes were definitely glued to that defensive backfield.
Well, I'm going to be completely honest with you, man. I was a bit disappointed from the very beginning. When I cut the game on and I didn't see any of the starters playing, I was disappointed. I understand that it's the preseason. I understand what's going on, but having a young secondary, those guys need reps. Like you don't have fourth preseason games anymore. You only have three. So at some point, we got to get some reps. Or now that they got 17 games, are we counting the first two as like preseason games? Well, no, those go on your record. You got to win those games. These are the games that don't necessarily affect your record. Like you can't come out in week one and treat that as a preseason game and say, okay, well, our guys need to get reps, so they need to. No, so I was a bit disappointed in that aspect of it. But I did see Jeff Okudah out there getting some reps in. I saw Will. I didn't see any other starting safeties, and I didn't see Money out there. So I would have loved to at least see those guys get at least a quarter in. And I know from a player standpoint, they're probably like, come on, GQ, we didn't. But I'm looking at it as, hey, you got to get yourself ready to play, right? You got basically a new group, right? You added Deshaun Elliott, and then Jeff, you only played one game. So if you are the starter, or if Will's the starter, however that plays out, you're adding two new pieces, basically. Yeah, Money's back and Tracy's back, but those other two guys, are whoever it is, they're going to be new, right? And so you just need those reps. You need that continuity. You need that communication in game, right? Who's going to be the slot guy? Like you need that work together. And I was a bit disappointed I didn't see that. And so, I watched the first quarter again, and it was kind of the same thing, right? You just, there's plays that you want to see made that's just like it's close, but it's not being made, right? You see them complete a simple crossing route on third down, and guy circles the defense and gets the first down. And then they come right back, I think, on the next third down and run the same exact play, right? So it's just little things that, like I said, it's not a physical thing. It's just those guys are young and they need the reps. And so, for the most part, me personally, I was upset and disappointed that those guys were not playing. And so I think I watched the first quarter and a half, and I was like, all right, man, like, what are we doing? And I turned it off.
Honestly, I get it, especially when you continue to go down the roster. It loses some of the appeal, especially when I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I understand Michael Brockers. He's a 31-year-old defensive tackle. Sit him. I don't care. But it's all about the communication positions for me. It's the safeties that are going to be communicating with each other. It's the safeties and the corners that are going to be communicating with each other. The linebackers communicating with the safeties. Those are the guys that I at least want to see a little bit more from, because we don't know what that's going to look like in real time. And you can only get that experience, that communication, build that relationship with live game reps. And so I'm hoping that we see a dress rehearsal for preseason game 3. And some teams like to run the dress rehearsal where their starters play a quarter or a half. Other teams kind of avoid it to keep the team fresh. Are you with me that you want to see this dress rehearsal for the Lions?
I think we need to see some of it. Like I said, if the Lions were a veteran team all across the board, then I would say, okay, I still want you guys to go out and give me at least a quarter and a half, because at some point, you try to prevent injuries in the preseason. But if you're not careful, you create injuries in the regular season, right? These guys are going to be expected to come out week 1 playing at a high level for 4 quarters. Your body has to be in shape to do that. That's why when you had the 4 preseason games, you play a little bit in the first game. You play more in the second game. The third game, you're at least playing a half. Some teams you will play 3 quarters, or you'll play the first half, and you come out the second half. Hey, we want to get a drive in the second half so we can practice coming out of the locker room. And then the the fourth game you didn't play, but you're working yourself up to be able to play 4 quarters. I mean, these guys played a series in the first game, absolutely none in the second game, and then what are you doing in the third game? Are you taking it as a dress rehearsal, or are you giving guys the time off so they can be fresh? Like you got to find, like you got a long period of time in between that last preseason game and the first game. You got time to get guys fresh. You got time to get guys fresh. You need these reps because you can't. I don't feel like you can come back after week 3 or 4 and you lost a couple games and blame it on the guys are getting in shape, or guys are getting more reps, or like I don't feel like you want to dig yourself that hole. Like you want to come out and be 4-0, not 0-4. So yeah, you're trying to prevent injuries from happening in the preseason, but you definitely don't want to create injuries by not having the guys ready to go and come opening day. So I'm a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little worried. I hope it doesn't go that way. I hope they come out ready to go. I hope they come out fired up. I hope they, working on the communication. I hope they're doing all the things that they need to do to make sure that they're ready to go come game day, because the pressure is on. The pressure is on. All eyes are on you guys, right? You've had Hard Knocks. You got the whole world watching. Everybody's excited. They want to see what you guys are going to do, right? Are you guys going to be the same old lines, or are you guys going to be different? They want to see. And so it's your job to go out and show them. And, like I say, I just want to see, I just would like to see more, and it could be a situation where, maybe they feel like, okay, well, this guy's basically locked in already, right? He's going to be our starting safety. He's going to be the other safety. He's going to be a starting corner. We're competing at the other spot, but these for the most part are going to be, our guys, and so we want to see what the backups are going to look like. So I don't know if that's the situation that how they're approaching it. But either way, I feel like if those are going to be your starters, they still need reps. They still need reps. And so I'm a little worried.
I'm a little worried as well, especially when news today comes out. The Lions haven't made a decision in that CB2 battle of Okudah versus Harris. And I'm not so worried about that. But the additional statement of, we haven't decided who, but they're both going to have a role anyways. And what does that mean? Are you going to be rotating? Will Harris is playing on first down and Jeff Okudah's on second? Are we rotating drives? Because there's also a battle in the slot where AJ Parker and Mike Hughes are kind of starting to compete with one another. So are you going to move the loser of the CB2 battle to the slot? Because then that player needs to be taking reps there. So what should we make of the non-decision and the idea that both Okudah and Harris are going to have a role for the Lions D?
Well, I think you get that answer because neither one probably has shown enough to say they should be the bona fide starter. I don't think neither one has got enough reps in games or made enough plays in the preseason games to say he should be the bona fide starter. I don't think they've had the opportunities. I mean, yeah, you can say, well, they've played 2 games. Like I said, they didn't play very much in the first game. They didn't. I mean, I think Jeff played the first quarter in the first game, if that, right? So to declare either one of those guys, he's the guy, I don't know if anyone, unless they've just done some miraculous things at practice, right? Like, and, the practice that I went to, I can't say that either one just jumped out as like, okay, oh yeah, Will should be the guy or Jeff should be the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't looking specifically at them to judge it intently. I just wanted to watch and see what jumped out to me. Like, what was anybody jumping out to me, right? And so I don't know, if they've seen enough from any one of those guys to say, okay, you're going to be our guy. I don't know if they've seen it. So it's hard to make that decision. So you know, do both of those guys play a whole half next game? Well, then where do money get reps? He need reps too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'm worried. I don't want to worry, but when it comes to the team, the secondary is a huge part of this thing. You know what I'm saying? If you can't stop guys from throwing that ball and completing passes on third down, it's going to be very difficult to win. And when I was playing, that was one thing that I definitely didn't want, is for us to have a good team and the secondary be the reason why we're not winning games.
Let's hope that that's not the case in 2022 because, again, I believe in these players. I'm excited. I really like Jeff Okudah. I really like Will Harris. But when it's a competition, because no one has separated, not it's a competition because both are playing so well, we can't possibly decide. It just worries me for week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles because you're either going to be competing with A.J. Brown, who is a monster among men at wide receiver, or Devontae Smith, who, while slender, has some of the best feet among young wide receivers in the NFL. So it's going to be a test, and I really hope we get some more clarity against the Pittsburgh Steelers this coming Sunday.
Yeah, me too. Because I already know how these receivers are going to approach this game, right? Because you have Will, you have Jeff. Neither one has proven themselves as a starting corner. Yes, Amani had a good year last year, catching some interceptions, came on strong, right? But those receivers, those guys are not going to come in and feel like super respectful to the Lions defensive backs, right? And everybody wants to start the season off hot. So I guarantee you both of those receivers are going to come in with it on their mind that they're trying to put up 100+ yards and a touchdown. Both guys, Devontae and AJ. So I hope these guys are ready to go.
I really hope so too. And we'll get more clarity once we find out what's going on in that third game, because it's going to be a battle out there, regardless of if they're ready or not. Just like it was a battle in practice between Jamal Williams and EJ Speed. I don't know if you saw that, but Jamal Williams is more of a talker on the field than I realized. I thought he was just all happy off the field, really just happy-go-lucky, loving life. No, he is a chippy guy on the field.
Most definitely. And like I said, when I was at practice, I'm sitting there waiting for one of the defensive guys to let him have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, not in a dirty way, but we're doing goal line. Like, I'm finna thud you up. Like, yeah. I'm finna shut you up. Like, because he's scoring touchdowns. He's talking. And that's fine, right? I ain't got no problem with because at the end of the day, if that's what feeds you, that's what help win games, then go out and do you, bro. But as a competitor, right now, we're competing. Yeah, we're on the same team, but we're competing with each other. And I just can't let you do that. So it doesn't surprise me when he does it in those joint practices. That's what I say. Joint practices are always like that. You're going to have guys that's going to be talking. That's why you have so many fights and stuff when you see joint practices, because, defensive guys hold, offensive guys, talk smack and do this and this and that. And you got the fans out there. So everybody's trying to show up everybody, and everybody trying to make it seem like this and that and this, like all that nonsense that happens in these joint practices, right? And so NFL practices are basically, a lot of them are offensive driven, right? You're not tackling guys, certain guys, you're not really competing so much at the ball in a way, because, you're not trying to hurt anybody and things like that. But like I said, when you have these joint practices, fans are right there. So a receiver go up and catch a ball, and you pull off a little bit, but he go up and catch a ball, make a spectacular play. He starts talking smack, fan go crazy. Okay, I got something for you. Okay, it won't be like that next time. So then next time when I take it a little over the top, now we're fighting. Now we going at it, right? So that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? And guys try to bully other guys because they think they bigger and they tougher, and you can't let anybody bully you. So gotta try to pass rush on Jamal and just stuff. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, Jamal's a talker, man. But like I said, long as he is genuine and authentic with it, and he's not just putting on for the cameras or putting on because he has that opportunity now. I got no problem with it.
No, not at all. I love the chippiness on the field from your running backs because they're taking the collisions that even get underrated, those pass blocking reps. We forget about the kind of force that these two players are generating, the hits they're taking, not only carrying the ball, but even in pass protection. So to see that kind of attitude and him winning those reps too, that gets me excited, at least from an offensive perspective. I want to see more of that. But his ever have a training camp rival from another team? Anything that escalated a little bit further?
Like I said, we fought with the Saints every time we practiced them. We had a little scuffle with the Pittsburgh Steelers when I was in Detroit. We had practiced Pittsburgh and we're doing 2-minute drill. And like I said, we're not tackling, but it's competitive. You know what I'm saying? And they get down to, I think it's like 4th down or something like that, and they got to score. And it's practice, but you want to win, right? So Ben throws a ball to Antonio Brown coming across the middle. He tried to run it in for a touchdown. He tried to actually truck me, and it's like, oh, negative. What? Nah, bro, that ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. So they had a little scuffle, but we had to let them boys know, like, we ain't no punks, man. You ain't finna run through here and AB trying to act like he all tough. You ain't tough, bro. You ain't tough, bro. Like, you better sit down somewhere. little kid, little boy, whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying? But that was the attitude, right? That was the month. Like, no, man. You're not coming through here trying to just run through us and score a touchdown. Nah, bro. And, we had to stand up. And it is what it is.
Especially to Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. You can't let them have the last word. I'm glad you didn't, especially, 180-pound receiver versus Glover Quinn. Not only the interception leader, but a hard hitter in the defensive backfield. No way.
Yeah. No way. That definitely wasn't happening.
No.
At all.
And funny you bring up Ben Roethlisberger because it was in the news today that he was at the Steelers practice, but he didn't talk to Kenny Pickett. He avoided, you would imagine, again, it could have been coincidence, but you'd think that the guy that just retired would go and have a chat with the new rookie quarterback, but not Ben Roethlisberger, apparently.
Yeah, that's weird.
Kind of similar to his relationship with Mason Rudolph, though, when they drafted him. So
yeah, that's weird to me. I don't even like why else are you going back out there? Like, I mean, so you just going to visit and hang out? Cool. So why not as a Steeler franchise quarterback? Like, why not at least meet the new rookie? And, like, why not? That's the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah, and Pickett took it really well. He was asked about it after. I didn't see him after practice, so I didn't get to talk to him. But I'm gonna get his number from one of the guys, and I'll give him a text.
That's media talk, man.
Yeah, and yeah, he's just being a nice kid.
That's media talk, man. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Deep inside, he's probably like, "That's whack, Ben."
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's a story and there's a legit story. But you would also think like you're Ben, right? So unless they just got you doing all types of stuff, when the quarterbacks are doing individual drills, I'm sure you can go over there, Ben. Like I'm sure I'm sure you can go over there and say what's up to the quarterbacks, Ben. Like when they're doing team, like I'm sure you can be on the offensive sideline. I'm sure you can do that. So for you not to do that, you know, like I said, unless they had him doing so many other things, because I will feel like Ben has to put himself on the outside. Pickett got practice. So he need to be focused on practice. It's my job to go up to him, not his job to leave practice or to leave a drill to come say what's up to me.
Yeah.
That's how I will look at it. No, you need to go practice, bro. Go take care of practice. I'll be here and catch you after practice. Or hey, I'm gonna show up before practice so I can catch you because I'm sure the quarterbacks are just out there throwing the ball around, playing around. Then you got special teams. What are they doing during the kickoff period and the punt period? And I'm like, there's plenty of opportunity for Big Ben to meet and talk to Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, that
So
was
I got to give Big Ben a thumbs down on that one.
That was one of the more surprising headlines I read today. And again, it could end up being nothing. There could be something. Maybe he's waiting in the locker room and they're going to chat later, but it doesn't look good. And it doesn't surprise me based on his history with quarterbacks replacing him.
Yeah. Thumbs down, Ben.
Thumbs down, but 2 thumbs up from Dan Campbell based on all the reports coming out of Hard Knocks. You just read things, you watch him, and everyone loves Dan Campbell. His wife calls him the Pied Piper because kids gravitate towards him because he's so funny. Animals love him. He just connects with people. And so I hope that does translate to wins. But at the very least, it's cool seeing a genuine human being who doesn't do so much of the coach speak, and sometimes to his detriment, but he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's going to give you a quote every time he talks.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you can relate to people, when you can just be humble, right? When you're humble, when you're grateful, when you're all those thankful, all those different things, it's gonna help people connect with you, right? When you're not humble and you feel like you're better than everybody else, right? You're not grateful for the job or thankful for the job. You feel like, you should have been given this job, like it's a privilege, like it's a right for you to have this, not a privilege, right? Like you should be thankful that you got this job. And I want to do the very best that I can, right? You should be grateful. You should be humble that out of all the people in the world, they chose me to do this. So I don't take it for granted. And when you feel that way and you can share your soul with people, they can see your genuine, authentic self, they're gonna relate to you. They're gonna relate to you. And as long as you are doing it authentically, organically, and you're not putting on, because it's very hard to put on for a long period of time. Right. So for him to consistently be this way over and over and over, that's who he is. That's who he is. You know what I'm saying? He definitely appreciates the job, the role, everything that he's been through to get to this point. And so it comes out in the way he carries himself. It comes out in how he talks to his team. And then his team responds. The culture is good. The people around the world are getting to see it on Hard Knocks. And they love it too. But once again, all that is fine and dandy. You got to win football games.
You do. You have to win for football games first and foremost, which is why it's surprising that Dan Campbell is now, depending on which website you use, the favorite for Coach of the Year before we've even played a single game, just based on Hard Knocks. Now, if you use our friends at Bet Online, he's the 3rd favorite for Coach of the Year, just behind Vikings Kevin O'Connell and Giants Brian Daboll. So the national media is finally giving the Lions respect, but we do need to actually win those games.
Right. And that's the thing, right? Yeah, he might be the favorite for coach of the year, but at the end of the day, that's also saying that they feel like the Lions could be a surprise team because they're not going to get a coach of the year to a 5-12 team, right? They're going to give a coach of the year to a team that did not have a great record the year before, and then now they've came back this next year, and now they're deep into the playoffs, or they're winning a division, or doing things like that, and they turn that whole program around. And if you can combine that success on the field with the reputation that you've gained from Hard Knocks and opportunity that you had there, then yeah, I could definitely see him winning Coach of the Year, because people are going to see what went into it. It's all timing, right? It's all the timing of Hard Knocks being there and you getting the success on the field. It's all timing. You know what I'm saying? And so, because it could have been opposite, right? What if Hard Knocks was there last year? Coach Campbell would have been the same, but then the Lions go out and go 3-13-1. Then they would have been saying a bunch of negative stuff. Maybe he's not this. Maybe he should be tougher. Or maybe he should do this. Or maybe he should do that, right? But they wasn't there. So the national media attention wasn't on it. And then they go 3-13-1. And they win some games at the end of the season, gets closer and this and that. So they have good momentum going into the offseason. Well, then now you bring Hard Knocks on, and now the national attention gets behind it. So everybody just kind of they're excited about what could have been. They're excited about what they think is going to happen. Dan Campbell has been great. Aaron Glenn has been great. Deuce Staley has been great. Some of the fans' favorite players from when they, growing up watching those guys play. So everybody's excited. They just got to go and win the games. And if they do that, I might have to go to bet online and put my bet on Coach Campbell.
And it's so interesting because we're kind of getting it from all sides with the Lions. We're getting the appreciation from fans around the league. We're getting appreciation from Vegas for Dan Campbell improving the record. But Bet Online also has them tied with the Panthers, the Jaguars, and the Giants in Super Bowl's odds, and only ahead of the Bears, Seahawks, Falcons, and Texans. So they still have them as a bottom 7 team in the NFL. So on one hand, you're giving them the credit that Dan Campbell's going to get a bunch of wins, but on the other hand, you're saying, no, they're still down here.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're putting them down there, at least from the way I understand and think about the odds, right? Because we're not betting or putting the odds on who's going to be a playoff team. We're talking Super Bowl. So, yes, the chances of the Lions going from a 3-13-1 season to make the Super Bowl probably isn't very good, right? I don't know if that's happened many times, if any, in the history of the game. So, yes, that would tell me that the chances of those guys making the Super Bowl this year are slim. Doesn't mean that they can't, but it's slim, right? That's why it's called chances. But that doesn't mean that they can't have a playoff season and make a run in the playoffs. They just may not make it to the Super Bowl, right? So I don't think that means that they're going to be down in the bottom of the league with the bottom teams. I just feel like it'd be hard to say that they're going to go from 3-13-1 to the Super Bowl.
Okay, I'm feeling better now because I was feeling a little bit disrespected how they're getting the praise, but also the backhand from the same great sponsors, Bet Online. But that's good to know. And one of the things that we're hoping will get them to the playoffs is the player-led practice that everyone's talking about. So Dan Campbell relinquished power for the day and said that this is your team. It's your decisions, and let the team. I don't know specifically how they did it, if it was a vote or if each position group changed it up, but players got to run practice. And as a former player, are your thoughts on that?
That's a setup, man. As a player, that's a setup. Point blank, period. Because, I got asked about this on the other podcast, right? And so I told a story about when I was in junior college. And when I was in junior college, we had We was doing mat room drills, right? So it was up early in the morning, 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning. We go to the gym, we work out, we run. It's conditioning. It's all those different things. It's hard. It's JUCO ball, but it's hard, right? And so we're doing our conditioning at the end. We've done drills and drills and drills for a whole hour or however long it was in there. And now we're just doing conditioning at the end. So we're in a double gym. So we got like two big basketball courts. So we're doing, suicides cross the like whole gym, like 2 courts combined, right? And we were tired, man. We're tired. We get to the very end, and coach is like, GQ, you want another one? Or whatever he called me. I can't remember exactly what it was. And in that moment, I'm standing there just like, man, I'm tired. I know all my teammates are tired. I can hear them grumbling and all this stuff, right? And he called on me, put me on the spot, right? And in that moment, it was just like, man, you know what? I know I'm probably going to make 85 people mad. But if a coach asks me, do I want some more? I'm going to tell them, let's go some more. Because what is it going to look like if I'm like, nah, coach, we don't want no more. We're tired, right? What's going to happen when you get in the season and you're in the fourth quarter? And now it's time for overtime. Coach, we just can't play no more, coach. Like, we're just tired, man. No, you can't set that tone, that mentality with the team. And so, yeah, I probably didn't make a lot of people happy, but that was just something that I had to do. And so I was like, coach, we want another one. And we ran another one. And so when you talk about coaches relinquishing the power and putting it on the players, I feel like that's one of those things where as a coach, you want to see how my guys are going to respond. Are they going to take it and make it an easy practice? Hey, man, hey, man, coach, like I said last week, hey, man, coach gave us he let us run practice. So we're going to do, we're going to go how hard we think we should go. We're going to, we're going to do this or we're going to do that. Or are you going to really go out with the mentality of a mature football team and try to practice hard and try to get yourself ready to go and try to win? You know what I'm saying? They want to see, what would you do if you were the coach, right? Would you still do your tackling drills? Did they do tackling drills? Are you doing the individual drills? Are you doing all those things that you would do that we normally do? Or are you going to take the day off and make it an easy practice because, coach let us run practice day. So it's a setup, you know what I'm saying? Like, if coach lets you run practice, you better make it the hardest practice ever. Even if it's going to make you, hated and not liked in the locker room, it is what it is. Because the minute that you try to take it easy on one of those coach-led practices, the coach is going to be able to tell a whole lot about how the season is going to go and about the group of guys that he got in that meeting room. So that's kind of how I look at it.
And I imagine they'll probably get revenge on you for taking the day off. You're going to pay for it. What you take off today, you're going to end up paying for later.
No question.
Not even just the NFL. In JUCO, in high school, in college, coaches don't like days off for players.
I mean, it's not just JUCO. I mean, it's life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what you take off today, you got to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take off working out for a little while, you're going to pay for it when you go back to working out, right? You're going to pay for it when you get on the scale and you don't like what you see. You're going to pay for it when you go in the gym and you can't run that mile anymore as fast as you used to go running because you took some time off, right? So you got to push yourself, man. Don't.
Yeah.
You can mix. I'm glad that in my course of my 10 years, I never had a coach say, hey, you guys can run practice. Never.
Never had to. Never wanted to test you that way, it seems. That's a reassuring thing, and hopefully the Lions as a team made up for it, because you got to work hard. You have to earn it. Still room for a little bit of fun, though. The Lions did have comedian Josh Adams come to practice, talk to the team, and it was cool not only to watch it, because you see him, Justin Timberlake, Aiden Hutchinson comparisons. You see Dan Campbell getting roasted, called Hulk Hogan, and then you read after the fact that they didn't show it, but Campbell was on the floor crying, laughing, because he was enjoying himself so much. And I think that goes back to the humility you were talking about, just the wanting it, the understanding what it takes to be here and not taking yourself too seriously. So it's nice, I think, when the team brings in a comedian like that and it goes so well. Say what you want about John Gruden, but it worked for the Raiders that season as well.
Oh yeah, I mean it's always fun, especially during training camp. You know what I'm saying? To get some nighttime entertainment. You see the rookies doing entertainment all the time, but sometimes they do bring in different people, and to bring in a comedian like that to just break it up, and everybody be a good sport about it. You know what I'm saying? He's giving jokes. You know what I'm saying? They compare you to Justin Timberlake. Hey man, that's a great thing, right? They compare you to Hulk Hogan. Like, hey man, that's cool. It's fun. Like, have fun with it, laugh at it. Don't get too all uptight and feel like whatever. But I think that's a great thing for the coach to do that. Um, a lot of times when you do things like that and you have that nighttime entertainment, you generally have the night off of meetings. Well, that's how it was when we would have some night entertainment like that. You might have a team meeting after dinner, and then you bring in the night entertainment, right? We've had, throughout my years, we had a couple comedians, different people that came in, and different people that came in and just did other things, spoken words, or what I'm saying, there's all types of stuff. I think my first year in Detroit, Jim Schwartz had Eric Thomas come in. I think he came in. Yeah, he came in. I know he came in. I can't remember if it was during training camp or if it was during the season. But I know Eric Thomas came in, and so it's always good to get those guys to come in. And like I say, when they're comedians and they're funny, you get a free I don't even know what it's just, a free comedy show. And then he roasts some guys, you know what I'm saying? And he don't feel afraid to roast the head coach. I think that, like you said, that shows the humility of Dan Campbell, for them to feel like we can roast the head coach and he's not gonna feel some type of way about it. So that's a great thing.
And the players feel confident enough to laugh at their head coach that he's not going to be watching for, who smiled, who smirked at that. You're running laps after the fact.
Right. Right. Yeah, you don't want that. And that speaks to the culture, that speaks to the environment, it speaks to the respect that they have for their coach and that their coach has for the player. So, like I said, all those things are good signs. All those things are great, going into this season. It'd be great to couple that with some wins, and it'd be looking good in Detroit.
Was Eric Thomas kind of the best maybe night entertainment during camp or the season? Was he kind of the best guest that you had visit?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, especially given what he's done, nationally, media, and I mean, just him speaking the way he spoke and all those things, and then him. I think he played defensive back when he played, or he just loved defensive back. So he actually came in the defensive back room and talked to us again, like, separately. So that was cool to, like, see him up close in person in a smaller environment, more, close and intimate, real talk, you know what I'm saying? So that was cool. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I can't even remember all the guys that we had over the years. But I know every year almost they have some type of night entertainment at some point, not every day, but at least one night out of the whole training camp, they're gonna get at least one person in there.
Okay. And drifting back to Aiden Hutchinson for a second, it seems as though that just all the coaches really, specifically Aaron Glenn, though, very excited about Hutchinson because everything he thought about Aiden Hutchinson, he's just happy to know that it's real. And it seems as though Vegas believes it's real too, because Aiden Hutchinson, he's the only Lion that's really in competition for any of the awards that are being bet on right now. No MVPs for the Lions. Can't even place a bet on any of them. Same with Offensive Rookie of the Year. Hutchinson, though, favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year, ahead of Kayvon Thibodeau, who I want to get your thoughts on the dirty/not dirty cut block, and also ahead of Kyle Hamilton, who I know you're a fan of as a fellow safety.
Yeah, I mean that's good. That's good for Aiden, you know. But I mean, you could expect that, right? He was a top candidate in college, right? He was a top candidate. Um,
He got Heisman votes. Let's be real.
yeah, like he was a top guy in college, so you would assume and expect, especially being taken so high in the draft, you would assume, hey man, this guy was this in college, but for Heisman, he was competing against offensive guys and this and that. He probably was the best defensive guy in college last year. So it may not be a huge stretch to say he could possibly be the best defensive guy in the NFL. It's the same guys that he was, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's a stretch to have him up there. I think, if the Lions have some success and he stay healthy and play well, I think he'll have some success and I think he'll put himself right there in that category. It's very difficult for a safety to win it because you're gonna have to have interceptions, and I'm not saying it's easier to get a sack, but I mean when you look at the history of the numbers, the all-time leader in sacks got what 200,
Yeah.
200, something like that. I don't think the all-time leader in interceptions got 200.
I don't even know if anyone
Yeah,
has
I mean
100
like
picks.
yeah, like six. I mean, you look at 65, 70. I mean, you look at 100 picks. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you look at 100. I mean, you think about guys like Richard Sherman came in, had tons of interceptions in a couple years, and Mark, like those guys might have 35, 40 picks. I think Charles Woodson had 55 picks. You know what I'm saying? Like 200 picks. That's an insane amount of interceptions. You know what I'm saying? So the chances that Aiden Hutchinson, though, can have 10, 12 sacks in the season, as opposed to, Kyle Hamilton having 10, 12 interceptions. I know Trayvon Diggs did it last year, but that don't happen very often. And you mentioned that block. I was actually looking for it because I didn't even see it. I've been
Okay.
working the last couple of days, man, so I didn't even see the block.
Let's see if we can pull it up here for you, get it on screen. But basically, it was a routine cut block by Thaddeus Moss on Kayvon Thibodeau. And unfortunately, he ended up injuring his knee. It's an MCL. So he's going to be out at least 4 weeks, it seems like.
Oh, wow.
So it's unfortunate, but
those
it's in the
cut
rule
blocks,
book.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like I can't stand those cut blocks, and I get it though, right? Some receivers are small guys, and they have the task of blocking large humans, right? So coaches need to design the better plays, better blocking schemes because they do everything to protect offensive players, and they try to protect defensive players. I understand that in ways they do, but the cut block is I just don't like it. I never liked it. Even when I played, I didn't like it. I still don't like it from high school to college. I just don't like the cut block. Like bow up, bow your neck, earn your check, hit the man in the mouth, body position, do something, and get the man blocked. But to go and cut block, because I know there's plenty of times that I got cut blocked and it could have been a blown out knee.
Yep. Yeah, and they did change the rules recently in regards to cut blocking and what you can do, what you're allowed to. Oh, okay, I've got the video here that I'll enter into the stream, but yeah, they changed the rules so you can't go backward or you can't go outside in, but you can still go inside out when it comes to a cut block, and so that's why there's no flag. Not expected to be a fine when it comes to this play, but I'll bring it up here and let you see you decide what you think here. All right. Just goes
Nah,
low.
that ain't dirty.
Yeah.
That ain't dirty. That ain't dirty. Nah. I can't vouch with that. That I mean, because to me, looking like, he comes off. He's in the backfield. He clearly looks right, and he looks at the guy. He looks clearly at him, and then he doesn't defeat the block. Like he goes down with a shoulder. That is not how you defeat a cut block. Like, yeah, that block happens all the time. Those receivers coming behind the ball like that, that's how he's going to make his block. So I can't sit here and say that that was a dirty play. I feel like the defender got to do a better job of defending that block. I still don't like cut blocks, but that one right there, the fact that he looked at him and saw him coming, yeah, I think I think that he could have played that different.
And that seems to be the consensus reaction from former players. On the offense, it seems they're all, yeah, it was a clean play. It's in the rule book. It's fine. On the defense, we have our fellow coworkers over on Bleav Bengals. They've got Adam Jones and Solomon Wilcots, who both say it's a legal hit. It's a legal block. You have to do a better job. And same with Carl Banks. He says it's a clean play. It's a legal play. He doesn't like it, but it's still legal. And so
Right.
it
Yeah,
feels that's what the people who have actually played defense in the NFL, they don't like it, but they understand you have to protect yourself better.
right, because you've seen some over the course of time that are dirty plays, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, if the defender never even made eye contact with the receiver, right? Because the receiver is running across at him, the defender looks right at the receiver, so they made eye contact. So now, as a small guy, if you're going to block a big guy and they don't see you, you may try to like block them, right? Because that's your chance to kind of say or show that you blocked the big guy, but he's not even looking at you, right? But if he's looking at me,
Oh, your microphone cut out there, Glover. I think you might have hit mute, it looks like. Bottom corner of your screen. Still.
there we go. Yeah, I hit the mute button. My bad. But yeah, you have those guys, and I don't think that was a dirty play. I think he saw him coming, and he got to do a better job of fighting off that block. Cut blocks happen all the time. That's nothing new. Um, you know that he just got to do a better job. I don't see anything dirty about the play. I personally know that those receivers are going to do that over and over and over again. They're tasked to try to block these big guys. I just feel like he got to do a better job putting his hands down, taking on that block, and going to make the play. I mean, like if he just goes and makes the play, and he might can go make a tackle in the backfield, and that blocker never even get there. But it's like he looked at him, and then he kind of, I don't know. I got to look at it some more, but I didn't see anything dirty or malicious in that play.
Sorry about that.
Are you all right?
I don't know if your mic actually cut out or if it was just my internet that stopped hearing you, but
I think I hit the mute button.
okay.
I think I pressed something on my keyboard and hit the mute button.
Oh, okay. I'll just edit that part out. Yeah, but continue.
Oh, I finished up that segment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just keep going because I can see when it like I can see you kind of freeze, like you just stop moving. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So then I kind of just keep talking and keep going and going and going. So I kind of finished that segment. So it'll be a clean cut when you get ready to
Okay.
edit.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, we're getting the internet guy to come in and look hopefully soon. So hopefully this doesn't continue to be a problem, but
Oh
uh,
yeah.
all right. So uh we'll close it out here then, but I'll bring us back to yeah, it's pretty much consensus. NFL players agree that we want it out of the game, get rid of the cut block, but in terms of Thaddeus Moss, you can't blame the man, even in the slightest. So, Kayvon Thibodeau, get well soon and protect yourself better.
Got to, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, especially guys see that you can't defend the cut block. Those little receivers are gonna continue to do it. They're not gonna be like, all right, let's take it easy on it. No, they're gonna try to cut you the next time too. This is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. They're looking for those. That's what film study is for, to see where you're weak. And if you can't get past the cut block, if you are held up every play, why wouldn't an offense come at you with that?
Right. Every time.
Yes, and with the motions in the NFL from wide receivers, fullbacks, tight ends, it's you got to learn how to play in the NFL. It's not college anymore.
Right. It's a different game. And that's why I was saying it's just a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of this, a lot of that, having to learn new things. Yeah, you used to coming off in college and you beat the guy, you just go run, make a tackle in the backfield, or you do it like it's different. It's totally different. You gotta learn a lot, and some people learn quickly, some people it takes a little longer. So hopefully, he can learn from that, as he heal up, and not feel um, not feel how do I say it, but not feel like the guy made a dirty play. Look at that and say, you know what, it wasn't a dirty play. I got to do a better job. Yeah, because like I said, there's times where it's a dirty play, right? Like I remember back when I was playing, Arizona used to do it a lot with Larry Fitzgerald, right? They'll motion him from the outside in, and he wouldn't cut him, but he would just blindside, crack block that defensive end and just clean the guy out. Well, Larry Fitzgerald's not a little guy now. So that right there could be considered a dirty play. You know what I'm saying? Especially if he's coming that way and still cut. Like I said, most of the time, people don't cut when you don't see them coming. They cut when you looking at me, I'm looking at you, and I know I can't physically match up. I'm going to try to cut you. But if you're not looking at me, I'm just going to go hit you. You're not even looking at me.
That's when those decleater blocks come in, and Larry Fitzgerald, Hines Ward, those were two of the patented decleat blocks coming from the crack on the outside.
Yes, no question.
And so hopefully this becomes a learning moment for Kayvon Thibodeau. Lots of learning moments in this preseason. One final game. So before we get you out of here, what are you going to be looking for on Sunday, aside from please play the starters? Please.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I'm going to be looking for, because obviously we know, and I don't want to throw any shade on anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not throwing any shade on anybody, but it's just a reality and a realization in the NFL. The rosters have to get cut down to 53 guys. And so if they don't play the starters on Sunday, in all reality, there's going to be a lot of guys playing that's not going to be on the roster. When you go into this last game, there may be 4 or 5 guys that are legitimately competing for a spot. If they got to cut 27, they already know 24 of them that they're cutting. They already know. It's 2 or 3, maybe 4 that could possibly play their way on in the final game. But they already know 22 of the ones that they're cutting. They know that already. But they just got to get through the game. So if they don't play the starters, I'm just gonna be honest, Jack. I don't know how much I'm gonna spend watching that because I'm gonna be watching people that's just gonna be getting cut the next day, and I feel bad for them, but it's just the reality of the league, and hopefully somebody plays their way on. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then you have that one or two guys that just go out and have a monster game, and they may not play their way on to the active roster, but they may play themselves on to the practice squad and continue to get a chance. And you'll see them come in later on in the season, and you'll say, you know what, that last preseason game, he really did a great job, and gave himself a chance. But I don't think it's going to be a surprise from anybody because there are no surprises like that. If you come out in that last preseason game and you earn your way onto the roster, guess what? You've been doing it in OTAs. You've been doing it in practices. You've been making plays in the joint practices. You've been making plays in the preseason games. You just was an undrafted guy that had a long shot to make it, but you just keep showing up and you keep showing up, and then you get to that last game and you just have a monster day. Because if you haven't shown any great things or enough great things from OTAs all the way up until this last game, just because you go out and have one decent game don't mean they're going to be like, oh, yeah, he deserves a spot. So the person that, like I said, they're going to have maybe 2 or 3 people that's been competing, and they got a shot to earn, they might earn that spot. Everybody else, they already know they haven't done enough in the whole time that they've been here to earn a spot in this last game. They just body fillers. We just got to play a game, so we need. We got to put a certain amount of guys out there. So that's what we're gonna do. But the chances of them making the roster, slim. So that's what I'm looking for. I want to see if the starters are going to play, and if they are, I want to see what they look like. I want to see the secondary. I want to see, obviously I know what the O-line is going to do. I want to see some pass rush from Aiden. He came out and had a great first game. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to get back out there. So I want to see a little bit more from him if I can. And just if they go out and play clean, right? You let the starters start, and they go down and have a great offensive drive, and then the defense come out and have a great stop, then sure, hey, these guys might be primed and ready to go. But if that don't happen, I want to see a little more.
I think in the end, what we're trying to say is, Dan Campbell, please play the starters. Everyone out there listening to Bleav in Lions, please check out our sponsors, betonline.ag. Like the podcast, subscribe, like us on YouTube, leave us a comment because it all helps us out. Make sure you follow Glover Quinn. Follow me at Javanaugh87. And I believe that's all of the pluggables, and I think that's all of the main takeaways that we've got here.
I think so. It'll be interesting to see how this last week go. I keep my eyes on it, and I got some good news though for the upcoming podcast. Talk to a couple guys, so should have some good guests coming on. So tune in, subscribe, do all those good things. Check us out.
Check us out because you are not going to want to miss what we've got coming for you. So until next week, we will see you next time.